All right, so let's talk about how do we get in. Basically, every CMO has their own rules and requirements, right? So
Yep.
let's talk about in general, what is the process of proving that you actually did the things that you did?
It's all about, again, it's all about the credits,
Okay,
right? So let's do it, like, say, let's do it from two perspectives.
got it.
Say your credits are right.
Yeah,
So once a song hits a threshold, these societies will go, oh, we need to find this guy, we need to pay him, we need to figure it out. So if they can find you, they'll find you. If not, they put you on an unclaimed list,
mm,
right?
yeah,
And then organizations that, like what I work for, would literally look at that and be like, oh, I know this person, or maybe let me find this person and
yeah,
like kind of figure it out,
yeah,
because everybody's kind of like, really like 2 degrees from separation.
yeah,
So once the credits are there, it's super easy, super clean, because you can't just register. You just can't join.
yeah. You can't just sign up like
Yeah,
with a
like
PRO.
yeah, because like again, like I said, the money goes to Sound Exchange.
Mm,
Sound Exchange pays the rights owner. They pay the feature performer, and then the money for the non-feature performer, they don't pay it. They pass it off to, um, in the United States, they pass the money off to an organization called the AFM SAG-AFTRA Intellectual Property Distribution Fund.
yeah,
And many people think that that's with the union, but it's not with the union. The union just sits on the board of it. They just kind of oversee it.
yeah.
Actually, they don't really do anything.
Mm,
They're gonna hate that I'm gonna say this, but they literally just take a percentage for, I don't really know what, I don't know what they do.
yeah. But the thing I love about that is that you're clarifying that you don't have to be a member of the union to get a piece of that.
No, 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 no. Like, think about it. Anybody who's made black music
Yeah,
or contemporary music,
yeah,
we're not a part of a union,
yeah,
and we shouldn't be bound by that, because the culture, like, it's just done, music is just made differently.
yeah,
Now if you're in Nashville and you're making country music,
yeah,
they start at 9 a.m,
yeah,
they done at 5,
yeah,
and they're hiring musicians, and
yeah,
they're doing it that way. So it's, you have to be a part of the union.
yeah.
Or if, like we talk, like, like rock producers back in
Hmm.
the days, they used to, rock producers would be like,
More administrators than
yeah, they
than
would just be
players.
like, hey, I want, you're a dope musician, I want to, come on, let's make it happen. So the idea of a producer was very different than what it is now, where,
Yeah,
like, now as a producer, you're kind of like doing all of it. You're actually the musician, you're actually the person doing all of it,
yeah,
where
and even engineering sometimes, whatever's required.
doing all of it, whatever is needed. Back then, it was kind of, the
Like
roles were
segmented everybody.
segmented.
Yeah,
Everything
yeah,
was very, like, kind of, did their own thing. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So, but it goes back to, again, like I'm saying, like with the rights holders and feature performers and non-feature performers, you know, and this is to elaborate more on credits. I gave the example. I always use the example of Swiss Beats.
yeah,
The Swiss Beats, his intro is Showtime, right? And then, like, he, that one thing is, now he's a background vocalist.
epic.
He's not the producer. And then, when he's programming on the drums,
Yeah,
he's arranging, right? He's composing,
yeah,
right? So that's another role,
yeah.
right? Um, you know, Timberland, he made beatbox, right?
Background.
That's a background vocalist, because
Yeah,
he's using audio, he's using his voice, right?
yeah,
Or hand claps or finger snaps, all of that
yeah,
stuff, right? Those are background vocalists, right? So as a non-feature performer, there's multiple roles you can do to be a non-feature performer,
I
where
mean,
Sound Exchange and those organizations, well, in the US,
yeah,
Sound Exchange doesn't pay for it. They have
yeah,
to pass it off to these other societies,
yeah. But it's crazy, like how much money is being left on the table for
Oh,
the average musician today.
take Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah,
He was the label, the
yeah,
artist,
yeah,
the hype man.
yeah.
He was, he's an incredible musician, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, so he wore a lot of hats.
Mm,
So, but we all know him as the producer.
that's it.
That's it. Or the
Yeah,
artist,
yeah,
or the Bratz hype man. So, or the songwriter, right?
yeah,
So, which songwriting is on the composition side. It has
yeah.
nothing. It's
A
not
whole
on the
nother
performance
pay
side. It's a
system. Yeah,
whole nother revenue
yeah,
stream, right? So, think about all of those records. Think about Diddy.
mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, take that. The
Backgrounds
backgrounds, right?
immediately on every
Immediately,
record. Yeah.
all of that, you know. But he was the producer, and we all know that Puff wasn't making the beats like that, but he
Yeah.
had a strong team. He was
Mm.
what Quincy Jones was to Michael Jackson.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Could Quincy Jones like do all of that stuff? Yeah, but he wanted the best, you know,
Yeah.
musicians working on the album, and one
That's it.
split up the work and get different perspectives.
Yeah. And
So-
you can take on more work. So it's like it just makes sense as a business.
Exactly. So the modern producer has become more like, I'm not bringing nobody else on this shit. I'm doing this on myself. I don't even have time. I don't let anybody in my house.
Yeah.
Because you know you're making this music in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So you don't really have time for all of that, you know,
Yeah.
or the layers of what it takes to produce isn't so granular like how it was before. Go in the studio. I need you to do this. Need you to do that. It's like that's kind of depending on who you're working with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or unless it's your artist or your friends or your homie, like somebody you just been building with,
Yeah.
and that y'all just hanging out all day, you know. So
Yeah.
it's a different way of going about it.
Yeah.
So most independent artists are the new Jermaine Dupri's, the new Diddy's. They're wearing all these hats, they're doing all of it, and they only know about, well, let me put this through, you know, TuneCore, let me put this through United Masters, get my streaming money. But they don't
Yeah.
realize that, oh shit, I should be doing this, and I should be doing this, and I
Yeah.
should be doing this. There's a lot of other money out there, and they're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. So it's almost not impossible, but very difficult to go through the process yourself. You would recommend, of course, using third-party services to help.
Oh
with
yeah,
this
you can
process.
do it all yourself, but it's another full-time job.
Absolutely.
So you can use third parties, like the company I work with is Transparent. Like we'll do all of that for you.
Yeah.
We'll educate you, and we'll walk you through the process so you understand, and we'll help you make sure your metadata is really, really tight. Because once you get a hit record, or you don't even need a hit record.
Yeah.
What if you have had 100 songs
Yeah.
that are all getting a lot of streams, which could be the equivalent of having a hit record with 1 billion streams, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't, like, there's so many ways, so many different perspectives to look at it, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know, like, I just, like, you need to understand your role. Now, that's for somebody who knows what the credits are,
Absolutely.
right? Like, now let's take, that's 5% of it. There's
Yeah.
95% everybody else do not know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you do, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about it?
Yeah.
So the way you go about it is, again, you could do it yourself. We'll have our organization do it for you. And what we would do is say, all right, you did this record. Who was the record label? Who was the A&R? What was the record label? Who's the manager of the artist? Are you
Absolutely.
still cool with the artist?
Yeah.
We'll try to find who's the best person to go to.
Yeah.
We'll do a verification letter. And then we will go back to the society and say, hey, these credits are wrong, but here we have verification from the artist, the A&R. Here's their information. They're willing to vouch for it.
Yeah.
And the reason why the societies are cool with taking that information, because if you're the manager of an artist, you don't benefit from that producer or that non-feature performer.
Yeah. The background singer or the musician. Yeah.
Collecting that money, because they're not making any of that money.
Yeah.
Right. So they're cool with that. Or if you're an A&R, like you're either were in the studio or you hired that person. Right.
Absolutely.
So that's why they'll do that, and they'll make those adjustments. But they make it hard. It's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy. I don't want you to think that, you know, they're happy to go back and change everything,
Yeah.
because with changing the title means they've been paying the wrong people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then it means they gotta like adjust the books,
Yeah.
admit to that mistake,
Yeah.
and then turn around and then get you your money. And in some cases, a lot of this money's been sitting there for years.
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick fact. Like at the AFM, SAG-AFTRA Intellectual Property Distribution Fund, on their website, they have an unclaimed list.
Yeah.
Many don't know that all of those names on that list averages out to about $20 million just sitting there in unclaimed royalties. Sitting there.
That's insane.
So, and 80% to 90% of them are all contemporary, urban people making black music.
Yeah.
That's
just
who
don't
money
even
it
know.
is. Don't even know.
Isn't that insane? So they're taking deals they don't even have to take it. They just got this money that's been sitting there for how many years?
Oh, all day.
That's insane.
You know, like I could take our situation. Like, you know, we produced 21 Questions, and we noticed that Get Rich or Die Trying album was on their list
Yeah.
of songs they're paying out on, and we were like, we're not getting
Getting a
that
check.
money.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So we reached out to 50's manager at that time, who was also executive producer, Sha Money. He vouched for us, and we that song came out in what, 2002? What is it, 2020?
Yeah.
What, 18 years ago?
Yeah.
Yo, like a 6-figure check just sitting there.
That's insane.
They did all of the math with 6 figures, and then it's a revenue stream now.
Yeah.
So every year
It just keeps coming.
now every year there's a 6-figure check.
Yeah.
That we were like,
every year there's a 6-figure check
every year there's a 6-figure check
off of that one song.
off of that one song.
Yo, that is crazy.
Because streaming now there's no shelf life.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, it was hot on the radio or it was that big record then. Like, there's a whole nother generation that's discovering the music.
This music, absolutely.
So that's always happening now. And the more people get on the DSPs, the more people are rediscovering music.
Of course. And then, of course, the DSPs are in other countries are now rediscovering it for the first time. It's about to be insane.
Oh, all day. Like, if most people know 50 Cent as the guy from Power, right?
Yeah.
They don't even know he had a rap career.
Yeah.
And then they go like, he has music? He was rapping?
Start over.
They go listen to the music and start all over. So you get more streams. So it just keeps, it's never old.
Yeah.
That's the power of streaming.
That is spectacular.
So, I mean, I hope I answered.
No, you did. It was perfect. It was perfect. So let's talk about the process domestically, where like typically U.S. artists will associate or affiliate with one CMO.
Yeah, like, so.
Or PPL or something like that.
So when you sign up with Sound Exchange, a lot of U.S. based creatives, they don't understand how it works internationally. So they just let Sound Exchange do it for them. But Sound Exchange offers the service. I'm not gonna like badmouth them, but they say they do all of these territories, and they do, but they do it by, they go to say PPL. PPL is a UK based, and they're like the biggest, they're the best, and they use PPL to collect the rest of the world.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
So are they doing it? Yes and no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we don't recommend that because, example, Germany, GVL has their own rate that they take. They take their own percentage and taxes.
Yeah.
And then they send it to PPL.
Which is gonna take another.
And then PPL takes their rate, and then they take their taxes. Then they pass it to Sound Exchange, and then Sound Exchange takes their rate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So your money, like, that could be 30-40% of your money gone before you even get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Sound Exchange, they don't know who the non-feature performer is. They just take the money and send 5% to the fund.
Yeah.
They don't even know. Like, they just go 5%, send it out.
That's it.
Right? So there's a whole bunch of calculations that are going on that no one even knows. Like, and then even after the 5% goes to the fund in the United States, then you got AFM taking a percentage.
Yeah.
And then you got SAG-AFTRA taking a percentage.
Yeah.
Then they pay you your money.
So that could be 40, almost 50% or whatever
insane.
it is. Yeah.
So we don't really recommend that. I won't say it's a bad thing, because if you don't know, at least you're getting something that you wasn't getting before.
Absolutely.
But when you do know,
yeah,
that's where we, you got to kind of change the landscape. You're like, wait a minute, hold up.
Yeah.
So what we do is we go to each society direct.
Mm.
Each direct.
Mm.
So it goes from them to you. Not through that person, then to you.
And hopefully get to you.
Hopefully it gets to you, right? So we think you should go direct. And we have the staff and the team to do all of that stuff. And they're the best in the business.
Absolutely.
Actually, the chairman of our company ran the AFM SAG-AFTRA distribution fund. He started it.
So he knows the process. Like
he created the process. So he understands it, and then with certain things going a certain way, he decided to leave and was like, I want to work with the artists directly and help them. I don't want to be a part of the system. You know what I mean? Like, Because there's rules, there's regulations, there's requirements.
Absolutely. So the process internationally, we know that neighbor
internationally
rights
is completely different.
exactly because neighbor rights is a standard thing.
Oh, definitely. Like a lot of songwriters know this, right?
Yeah.
If you're a songwriter, you may write a record for someone, and then that celebrity may go, "I want a piece of the publisher."
Yeah.
Right? Because they want a piece of the publishing because it's like they don't make money on that side from anything, right? So internationally, a lot of artists don't do that because they make money from the neighboring rights. Because whether they write it or not,
they still get
their voice is part of the master. So they'll get the money.
Yeah.
And they'll get the money from regular radio.
Yeah.
So they don't need to cut into other revenue streams and people shit to get their money because they're gonna make money regardless.
Yeah.
Right? So you know what I mean? I'm just trying to give you like a lot of people don't understand why certain artists do that, but that's one of the main reasons why. They don't if a song's blowing up on the radio and you're an artist, you don't make money from it being on the radio.
Yeah, so you have to get your
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. No, you don't have to. Well, let me take that back. You don't have to. That's why some people choose to go about that way.
Makes sense.
But you don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as a featured performer, you know what I mean? That's how they'll.
Yeah.
As a featured performer, you're making money in sound exchange, but you're not making money on the publishing side.
Yeah.
So internationally, it balances out. You know what I mean? Like, because they don't get that, but you would.
Yeah.
So it all works out. So to buckle down on it, like you got a song, it's popping, cool. Just like how you would register with your PRO, you do the same thing.
Yeah.
You just go to the CMO, you do the sound exchange, and there's no additional societies.
Yeah.
There's just one. And they collect all of it for you. They do everything.
Yeah.
Whether it's a private copy, whether it's terrestrial radio, non-interactive, like they collect all of it and do all of it for you. That's what they do. You don't need to wait till a record is making a bunch of money. All of that's out of the window. It's no different than registering the publishing side of it.
Got it.
So the way international artists think or are being taught is like, oh, song's done. All right, let's register my neighboring rights. Let me register the sound recording stuff, and let me register my composition side.
Yeah. So it's inherent in their culture.
Part of the DNA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the U.S., we're like, let me register my publishing.
That's all we know. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, that record's coming out. All right. I think I'm supposed to do my sound exchange. What is sound exchange?
Yeah.